feeling alright. Whenever I'm around you, baby, you make me feel so
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to stage 2 of the Iceni Women's Series, hosted by the Warrior Games. I'm joined by Wendy tonight. Wendy, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Gemma?
Yeah, lovely, thank you. We should be watching the women set off live fairly soon. We're going to talk you through the course map for tonight.
Yes, challenge 2 is the climb. It's probably the most exciting race. I'm slightly biased towards climbs. It's the Achterbahn, which means roller coaster, and it lives up to its name. Not only will they do the reverse Innsbruck KOM the first time, then they go down, then will feature the leg snapper, and then up the other side of the KOM. So there's plenty of climbing for the mountain goats, and also a special recognition badge for the best time efforts in both directions, both the slightly shorter but steeper reverse climb and then also the normal KOM climb. So it's going to be an exciting one to watch for sure, Gemma.
Yeah, and we've got all 5 categories here, from the A+ riders, which are actually featured in the E category, to the D riders as well. And we're going to try to feature as many as we can for you tonight. I think we can jump into the action with the A+ riders there. Let's see how they're getting on. I think they're probably going to prepare for that first climb, and this first bit will be slightly nerve-wracking for them. I'm not sure we're going to see any moves in this first bit, but let's find out.
Yes, it comes up pretty fast, the first climb.
We've got that leg snapper first, have we, Wendy? Or are they going to go into the climb first of all?
I think the climb comes up first,
Okay.
and the leg snapper is in between the 2 big climbs.
Oh, good point. So that could be a real breaking point for them. So we've got a group of probably 18 riders here. I can't really see exactly. Just forming up, probably sussing each other out a little bit. We've got some riders from Draft there. A Beast Mode rider.
Cryogen Turbo.
Oh, yes, that's Sabrina Curtil from Turbo. She used to be a speed skater. An interesting fact there about Sabrina. She's a great climber, actually. I've ridden with her before in a team. We would expect her to put her full effort in tonight. I think she's going to do well. We've got Catherine Curie there as well. Lots of ride-ons going ahead for these riders. And that's Ace Ellis we just saw there. Ace did really well in the individual time trial last week, winning the first place for this category, the A+.
Currently, Julia Shallow is quite high up as well. I think she and her beast mode compatriot will do quite well on this climb. They seem to do well on all courses, to be honest, climbs and fast flat courses.
Yeah, Beast Mode are a fairly, I don't think they're actually a new team, but a fairly new team to the sharp end of Zwift. I know that they were in the Division 1 of the ZRL, and they've actually done really well and qualified for the Premier League coming up for season 3. They work really well as a team, and like you said, they have some great strong riders in there as well.
Yeah, Julia is interesting because she used to be a boxer. So although I know quite a few speed skaters in Swift doing really well, I think she's the only boxer I know about. And of
Yeah,
course,
I
there's
guess.
lots of triathletes as well and runners.
I guess you could say fast legs might transfer over to. I'm not sure. Okay, they're starting their
Yes.
effort now. So, just as Wendy said, there is a special, I think it's a badge or a recognition for the fastest time for each category up the reverse KOM and up the forward KOM as well. So not only riders will be looking to win the whole of this race, but they'll be looking for that fast time up the KOM as well.
This should take the A plus riders. I know Catherine Curry has done this course in under 17 minutes. It's a climb of 5.7, 5.8 kilometers, an average of 8%. It's got some steeper sections, steeper than the other side of the mountain. If I remember correctly, there's like maybe 15, 17, even 18% short bits. I think it is the better side of the mountain because you finished with it faster than the other side of the mountain.
The other one has some flatter sections in it where you often see some different moves being made by teams. You can see those two beast mode riders have come to the front now. They seem to be, are they the only two in this group who have a full team, or not a full team, but other team members riding for them? Or have we got some others in this group? I'll just keep an eye out while we go.
Yeah, that's interesting that Merle Brunet and Julia is working together and doing a lot of work at the front, although it's 8%, not too much draft benefit, but the beast mode riders do like to ride together as a group. They really dominate. They've dominated a lot in the past ZRL season, and they're doing it here right now.
Yeah, they really like to take
there's
the lead and set the pace.
I think there's two from Cryogen as well. If the jerseys, it's easier to look at the jerseys than the board on the right, to be honest.
So switched over to the A category now, who have also started their climb. They already look a little bit more spread out.
Oh yeah, they've splintered a little bit.
Splintered
There's Katrina Weiss is doing really well, as well as Rebecca Kearney, who just finished her first Premier Division season.
Coming back together a little bit on this slightly flatter section now.
So there is a fairly new rider on the scene, Julia Chalet, who's a triathlete, I believe, for BZR Black Flames. She's near the front, as well as Alison Kerr from Swift Scotland, the Scottish team.
Yeah, we see lots of Zwift Scotland actually. They feature quite heavily in the time trials and other races in ZRL, etc. Now, these riders are going to want to try and get together and group up. Obviously, not the ones at the front, but anyone who's dragging back will want to try and get back on that group, just to give themselves that motivation to get up to the top of this climb and then try and descend as closely as they can together. We all know what it's like when we see that rider just a couple of seconds in front. It's really difficult to bridge the gap. This looks like quite a big gap now. Actually, we've got almost 11 seconds back from the front four. That will be trickier to bring back, but they will try their hardest, I'm sure, and work together.
Yeah, Julie is really going for it up the hill. Enjoying one of her first bigger races, I think. She's really new to Swift. But she's doing really, really well. She does real life races, of course. I hope she keeps some on the tank for the second hill.
I was thinking about that. This is a long course, a very difficult course for riders. You don't often see it come up in many races. So chapeau to to the Warrior Games for putting it on,
Yeah.
because I'm not sure I would want to take on this course.
It's good to see that Jen Comfort is there as well. She's a mum of 3. I don't know how she does it. Well, someone else is doing the childcare duties right now, but she's a mum of 3 and a coach, and yeah, she does everything, and finds time to do races in Swift.
Oh, wow. You've got Deborah Sluice-Parker there from KRT as well. She's a prolific Swifter. We often see her riding for Socks for Watts and KRT, especially in the WTRLs. I've ridden with her, great rider, really consistent. You'll see her definitely managing her effort today. She knows how to ride Zwift and how to take on a course like this. So this looks like riders from about 10th place back to 14th, just grouping up a little bit, which will help them climb up here and hopefully descend together. If I was them and there's that gap in front, I'd want to group up and then try and bridge that gap if they can. There's another turbo rider, Charlotte Watts. She's coming back from quite a long break, actually. Charlotte rode a lot with turbo over the years previous to this. She's had a break and she's coming back. She did say to me this week she wasn't quite sure whether this was the course she should make her return on, but but she's given it a good go.
Okay, so it looks like there are some riders working or trying to work together to catch the front splintered group. I think what we see is quite normal. I've not ever seen the riders not break up like this on the reverse KOM. We'll see what happens on it. It will be very interesting to see what happens on the descent.
Yes, I'm not sure whether the riders will take that rest and try and super tuck on the descent, or whether they will start to push ahead, because you can make some gains, although you don't see it happening very often, because once one rider super tucks, you will decide that you probably want that rest as well, and it's possibly not worth pushing ahead. So it will be very interesting to see what happens there. We will switch back to the categories as they reach the top of this climb. Hopefully we can see some more of those categories climbing up as we go through.
So it looks like Julie was a French-speaking Belgian, in case anyone's interested. She is 9 seconds ahead. She's really ripping this apart. Alison Kerr might see her still in her sights. And we also have the Swedish racer there, Rudquist, and Bex Barker, very strong rider. I think 20 seconds is still catchable. So and Bex Barker is a really strong racer. I wonder if someone is going to be promoted to the A+ category today.
I did think about that before we came on, actually. That's still a big lead. She's now taken 12 seconds. Well, that's because she is getting to the flatter part. She's almost, I think she's going to hit the top of not quite the top of the KOM. Big lead. She's pushing on. You can see she's pushing almost just over 4.5 watts per kilo. That's a lot to do when you get to the top of that climb. That's a pretty big effort there by that lead rider. She's going to hit the hill again. Yeah,
here comes a little steeper bit.
a lot of the riders will take the opportunity on that flatter section just to spin their legs out a little bit, just to get some different cadence in there before they go onto the steeper section again. We're watching the B category riders now. So a reminder, they're obviously climbing the same reverse KOM. We've got some riders there from Cryogen. This is our leader of the B cat. She appears to be almost a minute ahead of the other riders. And you can see she's putting in just as, or the other riders behind her are almost putting in just as many watts per kilo up this climb as she had. So I'm not sure when she made that move, but obviously at a good point.
Yeah, I'm not sure which team she belongs to. She might be independent. She doesn't have her team. Need to do quick research there on this lady. It almost looked like she's wearing a beast mode jersey there, but she would for certain have had a beast mode tag on her name. So let me see if I can find out.
I'm just trying to have a look as well. Actually, I can't see her. We know that one of the requirements for the riders today and throughout this series is for their heart rate monitor. Needs to be compulsory. We do have some riders possibly that have entered without that. They may not have access to one, which is absolutely fine. I think they are still allowed to enter, but I'm not sure that they are covered in the results. We'll just get confirmation of that. So in the BCAT, a few riders have grouped up here just to take that third spot, third downwards. It's going to be really useful for them to stay together. If they can get together and stay in that group for when they're on the flat, there is a possibility they can certainly bridge that gap to our number 2 rider, 20 seconds out there. I'm not sure about the minute and a half to the other one, but you never know. They could work really well together. But obviously from different teams, they can't communicate with each other. They're just going to have to be guessing what they want to do and try and work together.
Yeah, they're working quite well together. I think this is going to turn into quite an interesting race.
Yeah, there's always that point in Zwift, isn't there, where very different to racing on the road. Unless you're with your team and you're on a channel like Discord or Facebook Messenger, you don't actually know what the other riders are thinking or what they're planning to do. Sometimes you can tell if a move's going to be made. You can keep an eye on each other's power and the watts on the right hand side, but it's almost a guessing game and a sort of an agreement, a silent agreement with each other that we're going to work together. Yeah.
Speaking of heart rate monitor, it's interesting watching Nasrin from Ionian. She's got a heart rate of 172. It's close to my max, but she's a young lass and fairly new to Ionian. But she was in the team that won the playoffs, I think, recently in the C category. So I'm glad to see she's got lots of energy in her legs for today. She's doing really well up there.
Yeah, a reminder that most of these, or a lot of these riders, would have just come from finishing ZRL season 2. Especially with the playoffs.
Yeah, I made a mistake. Sorry. Apologies to the winner. Ionian for the C category was in second place. I have to get my facts straight. Sorry.
It's hard to keep up, isn't it?
Yes.
So watching a fearless rider now, just grouping back up. A fearless And a Revolution Velo rider just trying to bridge that tiny gap of a second up to those other riders. Hopefully they'll make that. It's a great choice of kit and matching Tron bike today from the Fearless rider.
Yeah, it looks really coordinated.
Talking of bikes, I'm not sure what my bike choice would be for today. You'll probably see a lot of riders riding on those Tron bikes if they have access to them. You may think that a light bike is the way to go, but with that flatter section in the middle and the descent, it's often a tricky decision, and you hear riders and teams talking about it quite a lot before the race.
Yes, I believe that the only reason she's picked a Tron is because it matches her kit.
Maybe we need confirmation of that. Wendy.
Sometimes you have to feel good to do good. Like
when you fan view yourself, that is entirely true.
There's a young rider in the C group today, I believe, who's only 13 years old. We should probably switch to her.
Yeah, she rides
soon.
for the Socks for Watts team. She's doing really well. I've got some information about her.
Trying to find her in the list.
Yeah, she's a 13-year-old from Wales. She really liked sports from an early age, actually, and started swimming and cycling at 3 years old. There she is now on screen.
Oh, she's not got a heart rate monitor on. What's the rules again with the heart rate monitor?
I believe that a heart rate monitor is compulsory, but we'll just check that out and let everybody know.
It might also have been a temporary blip. It might have been on for the first 3 miles or something. You never know.
Sometimes they drop out, aren't they? But this rider raced her first cyclocross race. She was only 8 years old. We can imagine that now, and has done some mountain bike cross country and road racing at 9 as well. At 10, she started riding in the indoor velodrome.
Wow.
So that's quite a big leap for a 10-year-old. Very brave there. Must be a very brave rider. We've just had confirmation about the heart rate monitors, so they are necessary for all categories. If during the race the heart rate monitor drops or you get a malfunction, we might allow them to keep the results, but we do need to. The organisers will need to look into that. But we've got some riders here, as I say, who don't have access to that and they still want to race. They just won't be included in the results. But well done to this rider from Socks for Watts.
Yeah, currently in second. Well, between second and third place, depending on the wheels.
We've got some comments in the chat about bike choice here. John Rich has mentioned, thinks a climbing bike would be the choice for tonight. You might think that when you're going up this 6%, but maybe not so much when you're going on the descent or on the flatter sections of this course.
Here's a rider from Evo Meteors. Oh, we're back to Davies. And then Evo. I love this kit. It's very bright. It's the type of kit I need when I'm cycling around Kent so that the drivers can see me. And I love it that she's gone to the effort of wearing her Queen of the Mountain gloves.
Yeah, brilliant.
I wonder if the DCAT have started. They must have started already.
Yeah, I think we're going to switch to the DCAT on the hill in a moment. Just finishing with the CCAT riders here. There's a few within just a second of each other. If they can group up, like we talked about on those other categories, they'll have a real chance of working together and then coming back on those flatter sections. Not just for morale, but for some extra speed as well.
So I believe the A plus and A have already crested the summit. Well, the leaders anyway. I'm just trying to get the results. They're probably.
They'll be descending now, and they have that choice whether to go into super tuck or whether to push ahead. And it's very, very difficult, but they could make a move on the descent. We've got an Ionian rider here, Ness Hilsden. Keen cyclist, an IT professional, so a bit different to cycling. She started cycling after developing a stress fracture in her leg and left her running days behind her. I think we see lots of runners turning to cycling either through injury or through different things, and they tend to stick with it actually. She likes sportives and some social rides as well. And she's mentioned that her pit stop beverage is a coffee, biscuits, particularly custard creams. She might need a few of those tonight.
Yeah.
When she's finished.
She might have the jelly babies lined up.
Well, actually, she can do one better. Because her favourite snack of choice is, and I'm sure many of you have heard of this, M&S Colin caterpillars.
Oh yes, those are great. The A plus ladies have crested the summit. We've got two riders at the front, I believe. Is that true? Just checking on Swift Power.
That's fine. These decat riders here have got fairly big gaps between them, actually. There's a rider, I can't see, it's a little bit further down, but some big gaps there, sort of 20, 30 seconds. And then you've got some riders that have bunched up here and can work together a little bit. A reminder that these riders, these women, are going to be working really hard up this reverse KOM. It came on the course really quickly. They must have had barely 10 minutes before they started climbing. So they would have planned their warm up. Yeah.
Yes, a bit of a shock to the system. I've made that mistake before where I've been too busy to warm up and then you hit like 23rd Street within 2 kilometers. Yeah. While we're watching while we're watching, if we go back to the A plus category, they're currently descending down the hill. What's interesting is that the leader of the A category, which is Julie Shelley from BZR, has started catching up with the A plus riders, so is now descending with them, and that might help her stay ahead of the other A riders, especially if she's getting some drafting benefit from the A plus riders.
Yes, there she is. And we can see Ace Ellis at the front of this group, one of those beast mode riders as well, a Sisu rider, someone from Rave, and 2 cryogen riders. Always useful when you've got someone else on your team there as well. This series is for individual placings within the categories, but there is a possibility there will be some team prizes as well. So I think everyone wants to do well as a team and get the recognition for that, but they are just individual prizes that are going to be confirmed by race and by series as well. You can see, interestingly here, some riders have chosen to go into super tuck. That means they've completely stopped pedaling once their bike goes over 58, I believe, Wendy, 58 kilometers per hour.
Yes.
And they have to be on a 5% gradient as well. So they get that rest, but they do have to keep an eye on their speed. This rider we're watching here, Ace, she has her speed in miles per hour, which I don't know the calculation for, actually. I only know it in kilometers per hour, so I couldn't tell you. It's interesting. You see some of them super tucking, some others kind of pedaling. They're possibly just spinning their legs out just until they get to this flatter section.
So there's a Sisu rider still at the front there as well, which is great to see. I'm not sure about pronouncing her name. I don't know if you want to try.
Let's have a look. The Sisu rider.
She actually caught the cycling bug in the Swiss mountains. I think is Carla's not going to be happy with this. Fogsadi. It
Oh,
sounds
Linda. Yes,
Linda, yes. Yeah, so I don't know of anyone who hasn't caught the cycling bug when going to the Swiss mountains. Um, and she moved to the Swiss mountains from Canada, joined a local cycling club, participated in Grand Fondo, won some haute route races and events along the way. And so she's fairly new to Swifting, but loves hills and loves mountains, and we can certainly see that tonight. She's chosen the Canyon Air Road, I believe, which is very versatile with the DT Swiss arc wheels. Nice and lightweight.
Yeah, you can see another rider there who's also got the air road, but has a different set of wheels. She's just gone out of shot, so I can't see her at the moment, but just a slightly different setup, possibly chosen a lighter wheel set. So in this group, we've got Natalie Stevenson from Cryogen, a popular rider, a really popular rider. She lives just outside Glasgow. She rides with a vegan cycling club called Eat Plants, Not Pigs. She said she wasn't a particularly sporty kid, and had quite an unhealthy lifestyle. This is according to her, and struggled a little bit with her mental health when in her early adult years. She started to turn things around. She took up running, and then in 2015 switched to triathlon, which actually, she said, it escalated, this is a big escalation, into representing Great Britain in age group races. And like many others, discovered Swift just last year during the pandemic and those times when we were in lockdown. She also really likes riding up hills and she enjoys wild swimming, which I've seen a few riders do, actually. I'm not sure whether it's a great recovery mode
Oh,
or just
yes.
completely crazy.
Yeah, it's like an ice bath, isn't it?
Right, back to these A riders now. It looks like we've got 3 here, not including the one that's joined the A plus riders.
Alison's doing really well today. I didn't realize she liked hills so much, but obviously there are hills in Scotland, and she's showing that tonight. Alison.
So these riders have a reasonable gap, 24 seconds off the next group behind them. It could be made up. There are only 3 of them. In that group behind there looks like a lot more riders. So with that power of a group, you never know what's going to happen. But this flatter section is short. So if they can get onto the KOM before they catch, that would be really good.
Yes, even if it's just for the mental boost of being with others when you start the climb, because the climb will certainly splinter people again. But yeah, I think I've done this race before a while ago, and it's not this specific race, but this course. And it's especially the second climb where you need to have someone in sight on your map when you're racing. That makes a big difference. Otherwise, it can feel like you're never going to beat them. But the second climb is longer than the first.
Yeah, it's longer, but not quite as steep in places. And as we said before, it's got those moments where it doesn't really flatten off, but it does ever so slightly. And it just gives you that change in rhythm, a change in pace. And if you were to try and make a move on some other riders, that might be the place that you do it. These riders now are probably enjoying the flat. They're still putting down a reasonable amount of power just to try and stay away. They might start thinking about whether they need to take on any fuel before they get to the next climb. It's a slightly longer race tonight. They're going to go over the hour. And as we all know, it's not particularly nice eating whilst going up a hill.
No.
Okay, this is that chase group in the A category. As you can see, there's quite a few of them here. Not a mixture of teams. I think they're all from different teams, actually, it looks like.
Yeah.
But hopefully with that churning of a leader at the front, they should pick up speed, work together and try and close that gap a little bit before they get to the hill.
Got a nice mix of teams here as well. Ionian, a Fearless. There's Maaike van der Plas, Dutch rider, who very fast in real life. Does mountain biking, cyclocross, the works. And like many riders in lockdown, have really enjoyed racing on Swift. One of the twins is also in that group, the famous Fearless Brewer twins. I'm not sure if this is Lewis or Lee. Let me check.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We can see. We can check out the live stream, can't we, and see. Let's have a look. I think this is Lois, actually.
Yeah, you're right.
I think only Lois has entered today. So I think this is Lois Brewer we're watching now from Fearless. And look at those mixture of bikes as well. You've got a few different bikes here. The Tron bike, you can see clearly, a few of them on the air road with a mixture of wheels. And I think I saw a lighter bike floating around there somewhere as well. Someone's gone for that lighter choice. Okay, back to the B category. This looks like our
Gemma Curtin, yes.
B cat leader.
Oh, now we've moved to.
Yeah, so Gemma is 2.5 minutes off the rest of the ladies here. They're in a reasonable group, but I'm not sure they're gonna make up the 2.5 minutes. So she really does have a big lead there, and she's still pushing out. I know we're not focusing on her now, but we can still see she's pushing out 4.5 watts per kilo. So really going for it. If she can hold that and hold that pace and tempo until she gets to the end, that's going to be a great ride from Gemma. So we're just watching Alexi now. She rides for Team, I can't pronounce it actually, Electric Spirit.
Yeah.
I've not seen them before, but she's in the orange kit, I think, there. We've got Jessica Denman from Z-Sun. Popular team Z-Sun have a lot of riders both in the men's and the women's categories here on Zwift.
Yeah, Electric Spirit's got mostly male riders, maybe about 10, 15 female riders. It looks like they're growing, the female rider contingent, and it's great to have them here tonight.
Yeah, one of the things about this series is it is attracting women from all different teams and women also that don't have teams as well. You're not required to be in a team to enter this. It follows on from the really successful tour of Boudica's that ran over the past year. This is a little bit different. There is no roster requirement for it. You are just able to join these races or the whole series if you wish to. But it's really about kind of bringing women together, getting them to race, featuring all the different categories as well. It's really interesting. All of these women are putting in exactly the same amount of massive effort on these hills. So we love seeing them all, really. this is our third place, or was our first place now. First place C class lady, a Watty Ink rider. That's Ashley. She's going to have to be working hard. She's only got 16 seconds, so the gap not quite so big here. 16, 17 seconds out on that next rider. Actually, probably 2 and 3 now are going to team up with each other. So she's going to be keeping an eye on that gap to see where they are. She's going to try and get to that hill before they do. And obviously this second place rider here is going to try all she can, second and third, all they can, to try and get to her before that hill. You can see they're really putting out the power there. Here's our socks for Watts rider again. I think it's Aylwyn Davis. I hope I've pronounced that right. I'm sure her family will soon say to me if I haven't. So she's working really well. She's experienced in working in a group actually. Since she's been riding with Socks for What, she's learning to work in a group in Zwift. It's very different to being out on the road. So she's probably conserving energy when she can, helping this group move forward.
Betty Squad riding always has very good kit, I believe, with the
I
pirate
haven't
skull.
seen that before. Yeah.
Oh yes, extremely colourful and very recognisable. She's gone for my usual lightweight. Actually, no, a very popular combo there for hilly and fast bike there.
I thought you were going to say lightweight, no socks. This is a nice group. It's really good to see them working together here. We've got some, I believe they're WTRL riders, I imagine, or they might be from e-cycling actually. Is it Kirchmer e-cycling? Let's have a look if we can get that up. It's that yellow and black kit I'm looking at.
Oh yes, the queen. Yeah, I always think of it as the Queen Bee kit, but
Yes, yeah.
good for
there is
race.
one WTRL rider there. It's a slightly different kit.
Also very colour coordinated here with the yellow Tron.
You're doing very well. That Z Sun rider still in there. Really nice group of ladies working together here on the flat. It just means they can, you know what it's like when you get in a group. It's like a relief, isn't it? You can take your turn at the front, do some harder pulls to just keep your legs in the game, and it means you can also take a little bit of rest while the group just churns through and you rotate. So it's always preferable to be in a group if you can. No one wants to be that lone rider. Well,
No, definitely
out the front.
Yeah, unless you're doing maybe the 15% climb right at the end. So this is we're watching Sharon Longley, who's a 62-year-old grandmother, and she doesn't mind us telling you her age, her age. She grew up in a rural area where she and her brother spent hours and hours on bikes as kids. She used to be a competitive swimmer and a runner in her 40s, but an Achilles injury transitioned her back to cycling, and she never looked back. She enjoys touring with her bike. She trains for races in masters and senior events at the state and national level, and teaches fourth grade in school. and loves to get her students excited about cycling. And I bet they struggle to keep up with her. She and her husband fixes up bikes to donate to kids in the community, and she hopes that by being physically fit and continuing to set goals for herself on Swift and in real life, that she will inspire the students and her children, I would imagine, and her grandchildren to do the same.
I think if I was one of her school kids, I'd be pretty inspired that my teacher was live on YouTube at the weekend. That seems to be one of the coolest things that kids love. They may not quite link it with the cycling, but I'm sure she can tell them about the race afterwards.
Definitely. And you have to love this Velo Vixen kit. It's going really well with a nice sunset in the background.
Oh yes, yeah, good spot there. Sharon here or Sharon there was doing really well, just spinning her legs out, coming out of that super tuck. Do have a rider here hot on her heels from Canada. Just see if we can get her name. I couldn't tell you her first name because it doesn't appear on Swift Power, but it's S. Rue. She's going to be trying to make up that gap. She's got an equal gap between Sharon in front of her and the rider behind, who's Sarah from the UK, riding for LZC.
Yeah, she's in the 60 plus category, but doesn't have a heart rate monitor. So I hope she just had a little outage there. She's doing quite well. So it would be nice to see her in the results.
Yeah. This is Sarah. She's from the UK. She does have a heart rate monitor, really good. She rides for Team LZC.
Here's Nez Hilsden again from Ionian. Trying to catch person just in front of her, 13 seconds, trying to make the most of the super tucking on these bits. I believe you can do 3 or 4 really good sections and long sections of super tucking. Will get her heart rate, well, it's worked. Her heart rate's gone completely down to much nicer level, and that means that she will be ready for the leg snapper and then the second hill. So smart riding by Nez. Swedish rider Rosenqvist. I need to find her first name. I forgot. Let's see.
Yvonne. There we go.
Yeah.
Yvonne.
She's gone for the lightweight specialized bike.
Yeah, you can see Yvonne here just before we switch back to the A+. She wasn't quite going fast enough to get into that super tuck, so she probably should have started pedaling a little bit, but you never know. She was probably resting those legs just a little bit more. Right, guys, back to the A+ category. So Ace is still pushing ahead here with the Beast Mode rider.
Yeah, Merle Brunier is new to cycling esports, and she comes from a running background, like myself. But unlike myself, I believe she's not injured. She has an amazing 5K PB of 17 minutes and 34 seconds, and she runs a marathon for fun for 2 hours and 51 minutes. She loves TT and long climbs, and having raced with her or against her. That's definitely true. She loves the hills.
Yes, he's doing really well here. As we mentioned earlier, these riders obviously are not going to be able to talk to each other, so they're probably just sussing out a little bit how each other are feeling. You know, on a course, if you've been riding with someone now for just under the hour, you get an idea of possibly how strong they are. There's only so much you can obviously tell from riding with them, if they've given a little kick or if they've followed that kick, if you've been able to do that, and it just gives you an idea of when you might be able to make a move.
The A+ race looks quite interesting. well, exciting because the chase group is not too far away. 5 seconds is certainly catchable. So we've got their Päivi Väisänen, who's a Finnish rider, I believe, for Rave, and close to her, Natalie Stevenson, and they might potentially catch Ellis and the Beast Mode, Marilyn Brunet from Beast Mode. Oh, Päivi's gone a bit faster. 4.8 watts a kilo. She's really pushing it.
She's trying to bridge that gap on a steeper section of the climb, actually. But she's trying to do that. She's trying to bridge that gap. It's that decision you have to make. You can see those riders in front of you. They often are much further than you think they are, especially on a hill. A choice to leave the two and just try and make it across to those other two. But we can see in this long view here, she's really pushing. She's pushing out the power. She's going to try and make that. But those two riders will not want her out of their sight.
No, and she's a tall rider, Päivi, really tall, like my husband, basically. So she'll be going fast as soon as she gets on the other side of the hill. So you don't want to let her out of your sight. You want to be on her wheel when you go down that hill.
Yeah, and she's been brought back now with these three. As this gradient evens off, hopefully they've got a little bit in the tank and they can just try and push a little bit, work together, stay tight, use the draft as much as possible. That gap is 5 seconds now, though the Beast Mode rider has pushed a couple of seconds ahead, I believe.
Yeah, Linda's only 6 seconds behind the two front ones. Let's hope her mountain goats was legs kicking. Well, adopted Swiss legs. Because that will make for a more exciting race, I think, if there's more at the front.
Yeah,
here's
we do.
Marla. Marla's really pushing it. 182 beats per minute, 180. So she's working hard. She's really grinding a good resistance there.
Yeah, you can see her cadence is quite low. Possibly not for climbing, but certainly if you're on the flat, just about 70 RPM. We haven't talked about that yet. We'll have a look at what some of the other riders are doing. You can see it increases, just goes up to sort of 80, 85 on a slightly flatter section and back down again now on this steeper section. Okay, we're back with the A cat riders now.
Yeah, so here we've got a 1 minute 24 second lead. The Bizirole Julie is sort of actually in between the A plus riders now. We only see the A leaderboard here, but she is actually in between them. And yeah, there's no stopping her.
I'm not sure what happens, whether there's upgrades within the series or not. We'll find that out for you, actually.
Well, her average is certainly going to go up, especially with the second climb, which should take them 20 minutes. So, and the category is based on your will probably be worked off your 20-minute, the average of your best 20-minute effort. So she might well be upgraded to A plus.
Yeah, that's it'd be a good move for her. Sometimes you're not sure whether it's a disappointment because you've gone up and suddenly your competition becomes harder, or whether you should just congratulate yourself for doing so well within a race. So we're looking at these 3 riders now. One from Swedish Swifters, another team I haven't heard of actually. Let's have a look who they are. In the blue camo kit there.
Yeah, AF Kerr from Canada. Well, the Kerr is the name of the team.
Oh, this is Angela Quick.
Mm.
She rides for, I think it's Finesse. They recently qualified. I'm not sure whether it was this rider in particular, but almost they were in the playoffs for ZRL. I think they came 3rd in the Division 1. So they almost made it into the Premier League. Really strong group of riders.
She's got a very good name. She's doing really well today. Basically, the chasing A group behind her, unbelievably, really A+ rider.
And this is it's Alison, isn't it? Alison Kerr from Swift Scotland. She's in that sticky position again where she's got the equal distance behind and in front of her. But if she can just manage that power, work within herself, what she knows, these riders will know what they can do for 20 minutes. They'll have a good idea of where their heart rate should be, what kind of power they can put out. And if they can keep their head in the game, then they can make it to the top of the hill without having to worry so much about where the other riders are, and hopefully just have a great effort to the top there. This is back to Lois Brewer. Looks like this group have stayed together fairly well so far. It looks like Lois is really pushing ahead, trying to bring this team up, this group up, sorry, not team, and get them as close as they can to Alison. Sometimes if you're in Alison's position, although you don't really want to be caught, it's sometimes a bit of a bit of a relief. Yeah,
exactly. Alison shows up at all the women's series. She loves all the women's series on Swift, and we've seen her at the ladies' ronde, which is organised by BZR. She also showed up at the Fierce Felines race. So yeah, I see her at all the female rides. So
yeah, we were just viewing Deborah there. She's a real consistent rider we talked about before. Back to the B category now. It looks like we've got 2 riders from draft. Hopefully not working together as in they don't get any draft from each other, but just keeping a check on each other and making sure they both make it to the top of this hill.
So the INC rider has a, I know she might not be the first, but it's a good 28 seconds, 29-second lead over this next bunch. Yeah, INC rider is at the front, working really hard. They're 172 beats a minute, and doesn't seem to be seems to be enjoying this hill, to be honest. A little bit too much.
Yeah, she's putting out some big watts per kilo there, really, really consistently. That cadence we talked about a minute ago, she's adopting a lower cadence on the climb of around sort of 70, 75. You might see that increase a little bit as this flattens out.
Yeah, and she might not know it, but she's actually in the lead for the B group. The rider called Curtin is not registered on Swift Power, as far as I can tell. So the INC rider might actually be winning the B group without realizing it, but she's got a carrot to chase.
Yeah.
And she's keep going.
You know what it's like when you're racing. It's almost difficult enough to keep an eye on what you're doing, let alone checking what the other riders are doing and seeing. Sometimes you have an idea whether they're going to feature in the results or not, but it's a lot to handle on the day. This is that nice big group of B riders here, just churning away. Working hard again, that heart rate almost up from to 180 there from this rider.
Yeah, it's a pity we're in miles and feet here. Otherwise, I could tell you exactly how how far they have to go. But they've climbed nearly 2,300 feet, at least this rider from AHDRL. It is quite a lot of climbing. I believe you do nearly 1,000 meters of climbing in total, and 973 meters of climbing. So it's not Alpe de Swift, but it's getting there, just spread out over a different climb.
Yeah, you get that break in the middle, but it's possibly just as tiring for these riders. They've been on course now for almost an hour. They're really going to start to feel that in their legs. They're hopefully taking on some fuel. I imagine they've got their fans blowing away, whether it's winter where they are or not. This is back to Alexi again from that team Electric Spirit. So he's doing really well here. Okay, it looks like Ace has gone clear of the beast mode rider. She's 23 seconds ahead now.
Okay.
So we're not sure when that move was made, but you can just see here Ace pushing out sort of 4.5 watts per kilo. But Merrily behind us, she's not giving up. She's pushing out some big watts as well.
Yeah, Marilyn won't give up. She's a really determined, strong rider. Which yeah, she is nearly matching Ace's power. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they get to the other side of the hill, which I think features another little leg snapper and then a flat bit to the finish banner.
Yeah, they do have that leg snapper, and it's not a sprint for points, but the Innsbruck sprint again. So they have a fair amount of riding to do. They come off the hill about 40k. Again, Ellis has got hers in miles here, so it's difficult to tell you how far she's got. We can only see by the visual on screen here. But they come off the hill about 40k. So they still have another sort of 7, almost 8k to go before the end. So a lot of work to be done once they've come off that hill, but they would have had a good rest if they choose to super tuck down the bottom. You can see Ace now only has 200 meters to the KOM arch. She's really pushing out those watts.
Yeah, there she goes. It'll be interesting to see what her Queen of the Mountains time is there as soon as she crosses the line. 18:31. That's a phenomenal time.
Yeah, considering as well she's not really riding in a group. There was 2 of them, and then we assume she left merrily somewhere on that climb.
Yeah, that might be a PB for her.
And this also may be a PB for Merrily as well. It's certainly she's going to put in a good time as well. 18:58. That is an incredible time there as well. We shouldn't.
So here we've got the 3 riders, Päivi Väisänen from Finland, Natalie Stevenson, and Linda Fagsadi, who can now work together, if they're clever about this, to try and catch Merle at least. And I don't think Merle wants that, but I think they might be taking. I don't know if I don't have much experience actually with the downhill section. Can't remember because usually the races finish on the top of there for me. But it looks like they're taking turns sort of naturally, and there will be some super tucking opportunity for sure as soon as they get over this first little hump.
Looking at our 6th place rider here in the A+ category. This is
Cornelia.
Cornelia. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she's got an aero helmet.
A fact about the aero helmet. On my workout today, I was pretty exhausted, but I was so close to that aero helmet that I held on for another 10 minutes and I did achieve it. I was very pleased. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to wear it, but Cornelia here has possibly inspired me to wear it up a hill. She's
Yeah,
got
she
all
might.
the colours going on in her kit. This is Esther Beauville from Saris in the Pros Closet. We see a lot of them in the top races here in Zwift. So he's putting in a brilliant effort here.
So here we've got someone looking lovely in the Rougher Cycling Club kit. Is her name Ursula? Ursula, yes. Ursula Bardovskaya from the Rougher Cycling Club. There's been lots of fans. Come on, Rougher, RCC woman, and don't forget the One More City jersey launch by Rougher on Monday, supporting research into secondary breast cancer. That was a message from Laura Francis. Looking strong on this second climb. Anel Radford from ATP Racing. Who's in this little group with Ursula.
We've got Sabrina in there as well from Turbo. I believe Julia, the other beast mode rider, is in that group.
Or probably Julia. I don't know how you say it in
Julia,
German.
yes, sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, Julia.
Yes, she's an interesting. She's got interesting background as well. From Julia from Beast Mode. She's new to cycling. She only really started cycling in 2020, the year of COVID, and now she trains at least 20 hours a week.
Oh, wow.
Yes, she was the rider I mentioned earlier about being a boxer. Probably still does some boxing, and she's going to start the Premier Division in April. So they've Beast Mode have been promoted or going to.
Oh yeah, they
Premier
just
Division.
they qualified out of EMEA Division 1 and they're now in the Premier Division. A
So
really
this is
strong team.
Angela Quick again from. Oh, I can't say the name. Can you say the name of their team?
Let's have a look. Where's she from? Is she from Besk Fitness? Is it?
Yes.
Finesse. Sorry to the team there.
Yes.
I think they're a team from the US and she's from Angela's from Canada.
Yeah, she in her bio she says that sport has played a significant role in her life, and she grew up as a competitive swimmer and distance runner. Raced her first triathlon at the age of 8.
Oh wow! She can join our rider from Socks for Watts in Wales.
And she raced her first Ironman World Championship in 2018.
So I imagine these riders are now breathing a bit of a sigh of relief and trying to get some oxygen in as they just got to the top of that QOM there.
So this is Jen Moroz from OTR Racing.
Okay, I think we're gonna stay with the A plus to see these guys finish. We can see Ace has really kept that lead on the beast mode rider, who I'm sure is still pushing out the watts as well. They both are. We can see that she is riding. This is a phenomenal ride from Ace. It would be really good to see her racing with some of the top women coming up in either the ZRL or some other races. She's reasonably new to racing. I think she's joined Cryogen recently. It'd be really good to see her up there and see what she can do for the team and for herself. Okay, so as Ace is in miles, it's going to end for her at 29.5 miles. So she's got just under 3.5 miles to go. Now she's going to obviously know she's ahead. She can see that gap.
Yeah,
But
the
she's
end is
still
in
going to have
sight.
to keep an eye, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you get a second wind or third wind when you get within 5 kilometers of the finish. I certainly do. It's just it's a mental thing, and suddenly your legs that felt like they were screaming suddenly feel like, yeah, I can do this. Merle here again, um, really pushing out towards 37 seconds. I don't think she can do that in 3 miles unless perhaps Ace has an unfortunate mechanical.
We would term
So,
it as like a Zwift flat tire when you lose your internet.
but
But we
it's
always know what that's like, and we don't wish that on anybody at all.
no, and but she's having a great race, especially after such a packed ZRL season, and to get promoted to the Premier Division. She's done some great racing, and it's great to have her in this women's series. She'll have second place today, but there's still more races to come in the Iceni series, so she'll be in a good position. She'll probably have her eyes set on winning the series. So it's not always about the individual race.
No, and you can see, well done to her. She's still putting out that power, which is great, because there is a point you know that you're not going to catch Ace, and the person behind you is not likely to catch as well. But to put that power and that effort in to make it for yourself is absolutely brilliant. And she's still doing that. I imagine that she's paced it well enough. She's going to do that all the way to the end. So Ace has 2.5 miles left to go. The interesting battle, actually, we just flicked away from it, but I'm sure we'll go back, is between the 3rd and 4th place rider there. So they broke away from Natalie Stevenson from Cryogen, and these two will just be sussing each other out now, just working out if the other one is tiring, if they can see any chink in their armor at all. They may make a move. It'd be good to stay with them. They may make a move on the leg snapper. Well, that certainly might be where one of them pulls ahead of the other. From memory, that's not too far away now. I think it's at, I've only got it in K actually. It's around 43.7 K.
Yeah, they're going to cross the river and then turn, and then it's up.
Yeah. Okay. Let's stick with these. Right. I'm just interested to see, as long as we don't miss the finish from Ace.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't know much about Pavi from Finland, but she's having a great ride. I know she's tall, tall lady, but that's just what Swift Power tells me. And Linda is our Grand Fondo winner, who must be really enjoying this course today.
Yeah, it looks like the rider from Rave is relatively new to Zwift. She's done some racing. She's done some fearless racing, and she's taken part in some of the British Cycling Women's Time Trial Series. She looks like she did really well and had some strong races there. So yeah, she looks, here we go. We're just coming into that leg snapper now. Let's see whether one of these riders can pick the other one off. They're going to have to be brave at this point because they are going to be hurting. So to push yourself to hurt even more, it is a tough call when you've been racing now for an hour, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it's a very psychological thing now as well. If you could potentially put in a few meters.
Yeah, it seems so easy to do from the sidelines, but you know what it's like when you're racing. It just is. It's not like that. It's really, really tricky. It looks like they're matching each other power for power here.
Yeah, they have as 168 beats a minute.
Oh, well done, ladies. That is a real effort to both of them there going up. Oh, she's making a move here. She's trying to, yeah, there we go.
So she's very good on the descent. I saw her catching a few riders on the first descent of the reverse KOM.
Okay, we're back to Ace now. So we're going to follow Ace until the finish. I think she's got just over 1 mile. I know we don't normally talk in miles, but just over 1 mile to go. She's going to hit the sprint. There are no points for the sprint today, so I don't imagine we'll see anything from her unless she just wants to take that for, it seems like she's the type of woman that might just take that for fun. She's even, she's ridden so well, she's actually pulled away from second place. That gap is now 45 seconds.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal riding by Ace. I know she did really well in the individual team trial last week. It'll be interesting to see whether she finishes or can compete in the rest of the series. I think she's certainly one to watch on Zwift over the coming months.
Yeah, and Cryogen is doing really well tonight. Her teammate is just not too far back. And yeah, her teammate Natalie, I know her dream race would be the Alpe d'Huez triathlon. So hopefully, if everyone gets vaccinated, that might still be on the cards.
Oh yes.
And maybe Natalie can take Ace with her.
Yeah.
Because they both seem to be doing really, really well on these climbs.
Yeah, Ace has now been riding 1 hour, 16 minutes. She's coming into the end now. She's got just under half a mile to go. She's going to be pleased to see that finish. I imagine a great ride from Ace there.
Does Ace ride in the Premier Division? I believe so, for the Cryogen team.
I think the Cryogen team do, but I don't believe that Ace has up until now. I mean, they're certainly going to want her in the Premier Division, but we also know that comes with quite a lot of pressure and some verification that's required to get into the Premier League. I imagine that Cryogen will want her there if they can. I think she's new to that team as well. She's only been with Cryogen over the past couple of weeks, so they will certainly try if she wants to do that to get her into that Premier League, but she will have to go through some verification to get there. And she's just coming into the end now, so great ride there by Ace.
Yeah, so I like seeing her winning because she is a master rider. I'm also a master, so it's good to see all the different ages here today, from 13-year-olds to grandmothers. We've got all ages, and that's one of the great things about the women's series. You all cycling together. from the grandmothers to the teenagers.
Yeah, I spotted somewhere. We'll try and go to her when we've seen some of these A and A plus riders come through. A 75-year-old Gabby who's riding in one of the categories. So we'll try and get to her as well when we can. So this is the beast mode rider coming in now. You can see she's still putting in a big effort to the finish there. Really well done. And when she crosses that line, it's going to be that battle between third and fourth place. And it's the rave rider here. We think is just going to take it.
Oh,
She is working hard. Oh no, she might be pipped on the line.
oh no.
We got, oh, there she
Oh,
goes.
so
She's
close.
just made it. Good riding there. And followed up by Stevenson here riding for Cryogen. Great ride from her tonight as well.
Yeah, to do 9.5 or maybe even more watts per kilo right at the end of such a long, nearly hour, and it was probably an hour 19 minutes for them. Yeah, to do that, that's, oh no, I take my hat off. The top three, amazing riding.
Really good. We just see Stevenson come in here to take 5th place in the A plus category. Okay, we're on to the A's. I'm not sure if you can see, Wendy, one of those riders in the A's category got caught up, didn't she, in the A plus? I'm not sure whether she has taken the finish yet or whether she's gonna
No, she's still
out
there. She's still riding, doing 4.4 watts a kilo,
Oh, there she is.
or 4.1 right now. Nearly 2 minutes ahead of the Swedish rider.
This is her now, isn't it? Just coming
Yeah.
into the finish, yeah. Great ride there. She has taken a big chunk out of the rest of those A riders, and she might be looking for an upgrade for the next race, but absolutely amazing, phenomenal racing from her tonight.
I know she does some horse riding as well in her spare time.
I'm not sure anyone has any spare time when they're cycling.
Yeah, she loves horse riding. Big fan of Matthew van der Poel, she is as well. Well, any good cyclist, I imagine. Well, she loves watching cycling as well, not just doing it.
Yeah, you often learn quite a lot by watching, actually, whether it be watching others riff races or cycling on TV. It's a really good way to learn whilst not hurting your legs. Pick up some tips and dreams for the future. I think that's what we all dream to be out there with Matthew van der Poel.
Yeah.
Brilliant ride, and she's not given up. She's still putting in that power. Really good high heart rate there. Her cadence is relatively low actually for this flat section, but she's obviously able to use that. Putting out almost 250 watts there coming into the finish. She will be pleased to see that finish line as well in 1 hour 20, just over 1 hour 20.
Yeah, and I believe she's a policewoman as her day job. So I can see her catching people.
Yeah. They wish they didn't take on her, I tell you, especially if she's a policewoman on a bike.
Yeah. Yeah, in Belgium they do probably use bikes.
It's true, yeah. She's the fastest policewoman we've got. Maybe we can find that out for race 3. So this is our 2nd place A rider just coming into the finish now. A great ride from her as well. For some reason, this is the rider, Wendy, that's not appearing on Swift Power. Is that correct?
No, that was the leader of the B.
Ah, got
Yeah.
it. Okay, I couldn't see her for a minute there, but I'm just going to have a look.
The leader of the B. This is Louise Rundquist. I've seen her around. Yeah, the other lady was a B in the B category. She cycles for Swedish Swifters. I believe Sweden won the Nations Cup. So swifting is very popular in Sweden, and they do it really well.
Yeah, you always see them working really well as a team, actually, that those teams, Swedish Swifters, they're often out training together, really good in time trials.
She does quite well. They have the Scandinavian Cup recently. Well, it's a series of races, several rounds, and she usually comes in the top 10 of those Scandinavian Cup races.
Yeah, great rider here. All these riders, well, every one of them really, but these in particular that you're seeing still pushing out this power at the end means, well, either they've got that third win that Wendy talked about, or they've really managed their effort well over the race. They knew what they were doing. They worked within themselves up that climb and still be able to put this sort of power out at the end. This is going to be interesting now. This is now from third place back in the A category. This is a lot of riders coming into potentially a sprint. One of them making a move already, but can't see quite how close we are to I think we're very close to the end.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. There we go. Look at this. Wow, this is
Micah van der Plas is putting out 12 watts a kilo.
yeah, and Bex Barker as well may have just taken. It's good to see Deborah there up there. Great finish from those riders.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to start to see the finish for the B cat riders now.
There's Jade Mops from Iceni, currently leading the B. Oh no, she's not leading. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh
I
no,
couldn't
she
get
is.
Swift
Yeah,
Power to come up. Yeah, I couldn't.
yeah.
I
It's a
was
bit confusing. The both the both Swift and Swift Power is suddenly failing us. I believe she is leading. I think she's in second. She was in second place to the rider who's not registered on Swift Power. Last time we checked.
Ah, got it. Okay. Yeah, we can't get into Swift Power Live at the moment, so I wondered actually what was happening at my end. So we're going off what we can see on screen here. So this is the leader for the B cat riders.
Yeah, she takes part in the ZRL as well. I really like their ZRL team name, which is the INC Alienettes,
Yes.
which suits the kit, of course.
Again, this rider, she's putting out some good watts for that finish. She's obviously done well on her pacing as well.
Yeah, and sorry, not ZRL. I meant to say WTRL, the team time trial. Yeah, so they were quite dominant in the WTRL team time trials, which happens on Thursdays.
Yeah, really popular race for a lot of teams in all categories. It's one of the most popular racing series that there is. Really, it's on week after week, and a great way to get fit and to get training for some of these other races. So this is, I think you say, Maureen Nelson from FC Racing.
Yeah, she decided to go for the Tron as well. Maureen, yes, it's interesting name. Maureen, yeah, we apologize if we haven't pronounced your name correctly. Maybe someone on the chat can tell us how to do it.
Yeah.
She recently got upgraded from
This. Oh,
C.
sorry.
Yeah, she got
I'm sorry,
upgraded. She
B.
started Swift as a C rider, got upgraded this year to B.
Now, this is a rider that is brilliant to follow here. This is Caris. She's actually just trying to find her information here. I asked to go to her on the screen, and now I can't find her. That's brilliant. Well done, me. She's riding in the B category as well, and she's a junior rider. She rides for Socks for Watts in their junior team, and she's 13 years old. Only 13 here, and leading this. She's got some riders behind her, but she is pushing ahead here to get to that finish. So she's from Wales as well. They seem to breed a lot of good juniors here. And she came to competitive cycling just through some cycling holidays, actually, and touring in the UK and Europe. As an under 12, she had lots of podium finishes and points jerseys in some of the youth races in the Isle of Man. And she went to the National Youth Circuit Championships in Scarborough. So she's finding herself now within a pack of ladies here, 20th in the B category. That is an absolutely amazing effort from a 13-year-old junior rider. So well done to Caris there. And just switching here over to one of the B Cat riders coming in.
Oh, we've got a
And
sprint
this is our
here.
fight for fourth and onwards place. This rider here is probably just going to take it. She's put out that sprint early, though. If someone behind her picks up, they may take it. No, she's going to take that, I think.
It's in the bag. Yes.
Yeah, well done to those riders. So we're going to be watching our CCAT riders coming in now.
This is Simone Gu, a 41-year-old Army GP, wife and mum of 10-year-old twins.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
that's a mouthful. I'm tired of saying that. Yeah, she's been road cycling since 2015 and swifting since basically the start of lockdown in the UK, or worldwide, April 2020. She joined Evo in October 2020, and never cycled as much in the past 6 months than she's ever done in her life. She loves flat routes or routes with short, sharp climbs, like the leg snapper. Also a big fan of sprinting.
So nothing like this, apart from the leg slapper.
However, her proudest moment was cycling up Mount Ventoux as a non-cyclist on a hired bike, wearing borrowed lycra in 2013. So you see, she was a closet climber.
Yeah.
She holds on to the memory when the going gets tough. So imagine today, she was thinking back to her probably in flip-flops on a hired bike and lycra going up Mont Ventoux.
And you can see now, actually, just as you were saying that, she used a feather power up that she had, and she just put a little gap on those other group of riders there. I'm sure she was with them a minute ago, so she made a move there. She knew she had the feather. It's the last place you can use it. Sometimes if you have a feather on a long climb, it seems like like a tiny blip in the ocean to try and use it. So to keep it for this leg slapper is a brilliant idea. If she can hold this gap and push on to the end, she's going to take a brilliant finish there.
Yeah, and she's very good at super tucking. So I imagine she's going to try to do a little super tuck right at when she goes over here. Over the hill, there's some opportunity to super tuck, or maybe she's just gonna start her early cool down. If I was her, I'd just start cooling down now. She's got a good lead of 17 seconds. I don't think. Yeah, there you go. She loves a good super tuck.
Yeah, I think there's two places if you're very quick. Sometimes not if you're by yourself, but when you're in a bunch here on this course coming into the end, when you can super tuck, she might just not make the speed if she's by herself on the second place that you can do it. But it gives you that rest before the end, which is often much needed. Yeah, hopefully she can hold on to this gap, but she's going to have to just keep an eye on that because there's two of them together, 15 seconds back. She has a little way to go. And these are the two riders in hot pursuit. If they are clever, they will try and push and go as a two up if they can to try and bring her back before the finish. There's always that chance you can do it. The gap's got a little bit smaller there, 13 seconds. One of them has gone into super tuck, so she's getting the rest and hopefully she can push on. Half of me doesn't want them to catch her. She's worked so well, but that's what happens in racing.
Yeah, it's keeping the 13 seconds, still stays there. 190 beats per minute. She's hopefully that will go down with a bit of, oh no, it's gone up actually.
This is Ashley. She's a US rider, I think, who ride for Watty Inc. Racing.
Yeah, looking good with a headband as well.
Yeah, very cool. Just like she's come off a run or something.
Yeah, and the coordinated orange kit.
Yeah,
11 seconds now. 11. It's going to be close.
It's going to be close. So this rider here, she does a lot actually in the WTRL, TTTs and the Zwift Racing League. She is a really experienced Zwifter. So she will know about that gap. She's brought it down again to 10 seconds and she will not want to let that go if she can get the other rider to work with her. We're going to see if we can get information on the other rider. So we're not entirely sure of her full name, but we're going to call her Jessie. I don't think they're going to make the gap up, but they've only got sort of 0.7 of a mile to go now. It looks like the rider she's with there, Jessie, doesn't have quite as much Zwift experience, but she's been riding some of the Tour de Zwift stages.
Yes, it looks like she wanted to get the Tour de Swift kit. But yeah, she hasn't done that many races. German rider.
Yeah, fairly high level in Zwift. So she has been Zwifting a while, but maybe she's just coming into racing now. That gap down to 9 seconds, but they barely have half a mile now.
Yes, they're not going to catch her. The end is in sight.
Ah, brilliant. Well done. Good ride from her there, holding them off. This is a great finish here by that rider, just keeping that lovely consistent pace, really high heart rate. So she is working hard and she's going to be pretty pleased to finish this in 1 hour 34. This is a long Zwift race for these women tonight. And there we see that rider just pulling ahead there to take the next place.
interesting hat by the Betty Squad racing team.
I haven't seen that before. Oh, I have.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I can just see it. No,
No,
it looks more
it looks
interesting. Well,
strange. Yeah, I think it's the combo with the hair.
good
Yeah,
hair combo.
I've asked Betty Squad Racing how can I get my hands on in the real life kit.
Oh yes.
I don't care about my avatar, but I mean, my avatar only wears the Ionian Racing Team kit. But in real life, I think my son would love those skull and crossbone, well, butterfly crossbone combination. Um,
I'm just trying to find some information about this rider. Can't find her now.
yes, let's try to find her.
She's just coming into the finish. She's going to take 4th place in this category. Good ride by her. Maybe she's not on Zwift Power. Just watching here for the 5th and 6th place. It looks like the Z Sun rider may just pip the Rave rider to the finish there. I think she's just going to make it. This is Rebecca Willis from Rave. Oh, there's a lot happening in the C category. 2 riders here riding for 10th and 11th place. That'll be an interesting finish from them. From potentially the same team. Oh, yeah, very interesting. I wonder how this will play out. Here we go. I wonder whether either one of them is going to take on the sprint, or they have either a discord or a silent agreement that they're just going to roll in over the line together. I think that's what they've planned to do. Good riding there.
Yeah, it's Alice. Not sure of her surname, but her first name's Alice.
And this is our young rider again, just coming in, taking 12th place in the C category. Brilliant ride from her. Really, really good.
Yes, it does look like she rides regularly the Welsh mountains. Oh, here is Nazrin just finished for Ionian. Great ride from her.
This is Megan. Megan DeLacy Perkins. She's 14 from the northwest of England. She's actually an avid artist. I'm not sure whether that's correct, or an avid cyclist or artist, or both. And she's always really active and taking part in lots of team events. When she was 10, she went along to the local riding club and she found she got the cycling bug from there. So she's really driven, and she's been joining Zwift as a Cat C rider. And she's discovered it's quite an art herself, so maybe that's where that artistry comes in. But she's gone from some strength to strength, really. And out in the real world, she's done some road riding, track and cyclocross. So it's really good for those young riders to get a real mix of experience in riding. I think track was probably her least favorite, but she was in the top 10 of her first national tour event, the Northwest Youth Tour, as an under 12 rider. So that's amazing. And she came 3rd at the International Women's Track Omnium in Manchester. So a long list of things to her name there. Really good. So she now races for the JRC race team, and she has a coach. So really good for a young rider there to be coached and sort of help her on her way. And she just really wants to get out there and enjoy it. So growing confidence and improve all the time. So she's got no goals at the moment, but she's really working hard to be part of a competitive women's cycling team, or a millionaire. And I think maybe that's what all 14-year-olds aspire to. So well done, Megan.
Here we're looking at Andrea van den Broek. She lives in the Netherlands, close to Belgium, and close to the sea. She's a paracyclist and she races national and international races. She has left-sided hemiplegia, so she can't actually use the left side of her body very well, and she cycles mostly with her right leg. It's about a 70-30%. So the left leg is basically coming along for the ride. Her left arm is locked on the handlebar, and the balance is an issue. So she's definitely, once she starts this long ride, she's not getting off. She's doing really, really well today. She started cycling 5 years ago after she met her partner, who's also a cyclist, and they share this passion. And it's this shared passion of cycling that probably will keep them together forever. She started on a mountain bike, soon followed by a race bike, and her bikes were, of course, adapted. And now she happily rides on her race bike, and she also can do trails and mountain bike and racing on the beach. Her next project is to learn to ride a TT bike. She joined Swift 2 years ago to train indoors on rainy days, but nowadays she gets a good challenge of racing on a trader, and it's a good part of her training, which is why she joined KRT. She's excited to be part of this woman series and also to improve her virtual racing skills. She believes in challenging your limits and don't say no unless you haven't tried it. But most important, have fun on the bike, which I think is yeah, I couldn't say it better. It has to be fun.
And I was going to say, if we asked her right now whether she was having fun, it's never fun at the time, is it? But almost only 30 seconds afterwards, it's almost the best thing you've ever done.
Well, she's seeing the finals banner there now, so I'm sure she's not even thinking how it's feeling. She's probably thinking about that nice fried chips. What do you call it in English? Fried.
She's got that rider
Frieten.
behind.
She's thinking of those frieten and maybe the steak and a glass of wine, or I don't know, frieten and a glass of wine with some cheese. I don't know if she's vegetarian, but
Oh,
yeah.
she's putting in a good effort for the end here. She had the feather power up, which isn't the best in a sprint, but if it's all you've got, you're going to go with it.
Oh, definitely.
Just some of our other C category ladies coming in now. Oh, and a big bunch here. This might be interesting for the finish. We've got a Vela Vixens rider here. Some riders from Rave. Another KRT rider. And thank you actually this evening for KRT Racing for hosting this live stream for us. Oh, I wonder if any of these ladies are going to make a move for the place. It's always good to test your sprint because you never know when you're going to need it. There's one of them here off the front. Yeah, she's going for it. Great move there.
Wow.
Really good by that river run. Putting out 14? 10? No, 10 watts per key. Oh, look at that sprint. Lovely shot there as well. Thank you. I think it's always worth going for the sprint. Like I said, you never know when you might need it. It's really good for motivation and just that confidence boost as well. Finishing a race like that must feel really good.
Oh, jumping a bit. Here's our Bella Vixen rider,
Back
Sharon
into the
Longley.
DCAT now, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
DCAD, yeah. Sharon Longley from Bella Vixen.
I believe she is our leader of the
Yes.
DCAT. Yes, yeah. And I was going to mention there, just as we had that excellent sprint shot coming in, we have a photographer tonight, Tammy Brimner. She's based in Vancouver in Canada. She's actually really well known for her contribution to the British Columbia and California cycling communities. And she takes lots of pictures and images of amateur races in action. So when her in-person events were cancelled and races took to Zwift, she decided to sort of evolve her photography craft and took up Swift photography, and she can apply many of the same techniques and principles she uses in the real world to here. And I know that we've all been there, and we've looked at ourselves at the different camera angles and taken some photos and uploading them. So having someone else do that for you whilst you're racing is a benefit, really. It's brilliant. So thank you, Tammy, for taking photos of these women tonight. This is great effort by Sharon here. She knows she's got this in the bag. She is a minute 20 ahead of the next rider. So she's just really pacing well, coming into the finish here. Nice 2.5 watts per kilo. She knows what she can do for the remainder of this course. And she's going to be really pleased to see that finish line.
I see we've got some good teammates from Ionian saying, "Go, Ness."
Hey, brilliant. I can see actually in this category, so it must be from so sort of, oh no, I thought they were a lot closer actually. I thought the 5th, 6th and 7th riders were close, but maybe not as close as I thought, or they've just jumped around a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange. So she seems to have done more distance than Sharon.
We all know that happens when you're outside and you get home and your Strava doesn't match your friend's Strava.
Let's see if Heirs of Power has more information. I don't think she isn't. Oh no, she is. Sorry. The leaderboard thing is just confused. She's on Swift Power.
Yeah, it's slightly confusing on the leaderboard here because it looks like Sharon
Yeah.
is behind her, but I don't think that's
She's
correct.
gonna get disqualified though. I think for the entire race her heart rate monitor has been off. Which is a shame. Doing quite well. And I can't find much race history, so this would appear to be her first race on Swift
So
Power.
she's doing really well, and maybe she's going to invest in a heart rate monitor so that she can race a little bit more in this D category and work on her riding. So relevant of that, she's done well tonight. Really good race from her, and if she can get that heart rate monitor up and running, then she'll be well away.
Yeah, if anyone is listening and happening to stand in the same room as the lady from Canada with no heart rate monitor, take a picture of her if she's wearing one.
Yes, yeah.
Might help. Here we've got Sharon again doing probably the last climb she wants to do for tonight. Going up the leg snapper. It's strange viewing it from the front.
Yeah, still nice, consistent effort from here. We watched her a minute ago on the flat and she was doing 2.5 watts per kilo. So really similar here. So good, nice pacing there from Sharon. And she'll know, she would have ridden this this climb a few times now. So she's going to know what it takes to get to the top. Hopefully be able to get in a super tuck just to get that little bit of rest before the end.
So this is Puck Engstrom from Swedish Swifters. It's always a bit of a tongue tie for me, Swedish Swifters.
Yeah.
She's quite an experienced racer. Um, she's almost C category. Be interesting to see if this race does bump her up or improves her average. Um, and she also takes part in the Scandinavian Cup and got the silver, the second place actually in the last round. So going quite strong up this leg snapper, considering she's been riding now for an hour and 15 minutes.
Maybe she is looking for that upgrade.
Yeah, she's a veteran rider, and she's got quite a punch on her, so I wouldn't want to sprint against her. She's got a punch percentage of 83%, and quite an economical rider as well. So she knows about drafting others and racing cleverly.
Yeah, that's always really useful in a long race like this. Slightly different with the two hills that we've got. The riders weren't able to use as much draft as they would on some of the flatter races.
Yeah,
But if they race
especially
smart, yeah.
because they've been broken up a little bit as well. It's probably her worst nightmare, this, but but she's nearly there, so she'll be feeling good.
Yeah, this is one of those courses where you're never really sure what's going to happen. You know that it's probably not going to be a big bunch, and you're going to have to put in some strategies there and work potentially by yourself for quite a lot of the course. So well done to those ladies, wherever they were, that have had to work in smaller groups or by themselves, because that motivation to carry on and keep pushing out that power is massive, and they've done brilliantly tonight. Coming back to Ness here, who has lots of shouts out tonight. Popular rider.
Yeah, she gets regularly on the podium as well. I believe she was the winner of Tour de Boudica, which I did as well, and I can tell you it was tough.
Yes, yeah.
3 days in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and yeah, she won that one, and she came second in the recent Fearless Feline. Let me just double check my facts.
Oh, but she's got a bit of a competition on her hands here with another rider coming up next to her.
And I believe she won the Fierce Felines as well, and the BZR Ladies Ronde for her category. So
well done, Ness. So hopefully she can use some of that experience here, because she's been joined by another rider, which is not always what you having
no,
said that we like to work in a bunch, we're now not so sure. So this is
she's cleverly using the super tucking there to just get the heart rate down a little bit. And she's overtaken actually. Let me see if I can get more information about this rider.
I think potentially that Zwift Power might be working again now, in which case I'm just going to have a look at the other rider. Let's see. So I think this is the other rider's first race. Yeah, not a lot of history in she's been Zwifting for a while. She's on level 19 there, but not so many races. So this is probably one of her first. You can see Ness there using that super tuck. She'll know exactly when to go into that. And oh, interestingly from Ness, she's ridden with that disc wheel tonight. So she's going to have the advantage on here now, and she's going to know when she needs to kick and start pushing ahead for that finish line. You're just going to see Sharon coming into that finish straight now. So this is Sharon, who's actually going to take, we think she's first place in the DCAT. And she's just got under half a mile to go there. So well done, Sharon. Great riding here.
Yeah, and hopefully in America where she is, it's still early enough for the grandchildren to watch.
Oh, yeah, that would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yes, I bet they're screaming at the screen.
Giving a shout out to Sharon's grandchildren there. That's the kind of information we need. We're not so fussed. That's what we need, Sharon, the grandchildren info. She's just coming in now. You can see she's still consistent on those watts. Really nice ride from her, especially just under the 2 hours. So a really long time to be on the bike, but great ride from her and really nice pacing.
Yeah, at this rate, she'll be back doing swimming, running, and cycling and Ironman because she seems to have quite a good steady pace for endurance sports. Although she's quite busy, so I'm not sure when she'd have
I'm
time.
not sure when she's going to fit that in.
Yeah.
So this is Sarah coming in for the second place in the DCAT. I'm just looking. She rides for LZC, a vet rider for them. She's done a fair amount of fair amount of riding actually, but she's quite new to racing on Zwift. So it looks like she's done a bit of the Tour de Zwift, which obviously gave her a bit of a bug for group riding and racing. And it looks like she's just coming into racing now. So this is one of her second races. So she's going to be really pleased with this tonight. Great ride from her as well, really pushing out those watts at the end. Well done, Sarah. Great ride.
This is again Pukkelender Engstrom. Really nice finish. 3 watts a kilo. Not to be sniffed at if you've just been on a bike for
strong
nearly,
finish. There's
for
been
nearly
some
2 hours.
finishes. Yeah, really strong.
And yeah, she did really well in the Scandinavian Cup as well so far. All 3 rounds, she's been basically podium, getting on the podium.
Well done, great riding. So next Saturday, the 20th, we have round 3 of this series. It's a sprint race, so completely different to tonight. So we're back to London, where we're looking at 6 laps of the Classique. I'm just going to interrupt for Ness coming into the finish here. Well done, Ness. She's going to take 4th place in the D category. Nice riding there from her. Yeah, so next week is the sprint stage. 6 laps of the Classique circuit. It is a really short one, actually. So we'll see some different action to tonight, and it'll be really interesting to see what riders are strong and take the sprint there. It'll be really interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
The rider just finishing before this lady, Jules, that was her first race on Swift. And this is Yvonne again from the Swedish Swifters.
Swedish Swifters have done well tonight. Really good riding from them. Well done, Yvonne. Good finish. So thank you, Wendy, for joining me tonight.
Thanks, Gemma.
That was really good to cover all the categories and see as much action as we could. Thank you for being my backup on all the women's names.
It was a pleasure. It's my first time here, so my apologies for a couple of mistakes, but hopefully I've corrected them while we were online.
Yeah, and hopefully we're not sure, but hopefully we can be back next week for to have a live stream of the next race. No promises, but we'll try our very best. and we can correct any of those names as well, and give some shout outs to some more riders as well. So really well done to all the ladies tonight. That is a tough course. I don't envy you at all.
Oh, there's a good shout out to a rider, Charlotte Buckley from the Rougher Cycling Club final stretch. She's nearly home.
Yeah, well done, everyone.
Thank you for all your support, everyone watching.
And we will hopefully see you next week. So well done to the ladies who rode. Thank you for Warrior Games for putting this on, and for KRT for hosting this live stream tonight.
Thanks, KRT. It's been great.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.